poppin' YouTube? This is the Michael vs. Marvelous YouTube channel and / Michael vs. Marvelous podcast. Today we got a special show. If you're under 13, please exit my channel. I do not make content for you. So we know Sunday that Michael Jordan is dropped. Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary is dropping on ESPN. I'm super excited because the 1997 and 98 Bulls, I was alive. I know what that was like. So in this /podcast / YouTube video, I'm gonna explain to y'all, if y'all could tell by the Chicago Bulls, I'm gonna talk about that team. I'm gonna touch on the wins, the losses, kind of like touch on what I think the documentary is going to be about. Talk about some notable losses, some teams that beat them. Talk about how it was really, really hard for them in the playoffs to get over that hump. Because if we all know, the 1996 to 1997, they was 72-10. They won it all. They was one of the best teams in basketball ever. And I always tell people, LeBron, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant has always been the icons that I liked. I grew up, I always enjoyed watching. And I remember, always been a Minnesota Timberwolves fan because I grew up there. But I just always remember, Mr. Red Cup, you always know what it is. I remember growing up just like, damn, the Bulls are super good. No one can stop Michael Jordan. Like, when will somebody ever stop this dude? He's just so freaking good. Like, he can't be stopped. And I was a huge Kevin Garnett fan. And I just always thought about, like, man, the Timberwolves gonna beat them. They're gonna get a win against them. I know it. And which we all know that the Last Dance documentary, a lot of stuff was going on with the Bulls behind closed doors that a lot of the people didn't know. I mean, I was young. So, but like people like my aunts and my uncles that was around, they probably knew what was really going on. I was always been a basketball junkie, but I really didn't know that it was like beef between them and stuff like that, like you will see going on now, that same stuff was going on, because that was a last hoorah, and they just messed that whole Bulls team up after that. So I'm super excited. I'm doing a reaction on the first 2 episodes when it dropped. It's just something big. I'm like I said, basketball is my first love. So anybody that know me, I know everything. Like, so all the stuff that I got typed up and written down, all this stuff is just, it started to come. Of course, my memory, I start to forget things and stuff kind of go away, but I got everything. I'm a big nerd. So I'm going to start off with the roster. The roster was Keith Booth. He was a rookie from Maryland. Randy Brown, good old faithful Randy Brown, went to New Mexico State. It was Judd Butcher, number 30. He had a popper. He had a little clutch J. Scott Barrow, number 9. Ron Harper. Of course, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Steve Kerr, Joe Klein, Tony Kukoc, Rusty LaRue, Luke Longley, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Dickie Simpkins, Bill Wellington. And the coaches was Phil Jackson, Bill Cartwright, Frank Hamlin, Jim Rogers, and Tex Winter. And so of course the number 1 scorer on the team was Michael Jordan. He averaged, don't get me wrong, let me think. I had it written down. MJ averaged 30. Scotty averaged 19. Tony Kukoc averaged 13. And Luke Longley averaged 11.3. Dennis Rodman averaged like 9. You know, he got to grab a ton of rebounds. But that was kind of like the stars of that. Like, what people didn't know, Tony Kukoc never started. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he never started. He was coming off the bench getting buckets. Like, he could have been a starter on somebody else's team, but by him being with the Bulls, he came off the bench because it was, the point guard was Ron Harper, the 2 was the GOAT, MJ, the 3 was Scottie Pippen, the 4 was Dennis Rodman, and the 5 was Bill Wellington. Was Bill Wilmington. Yeah, that started off. That was it. Then Kukoc came off the bench. Then Kerr came off the bench and hit threes. So everything that I'm talking about is going to correlate with the documentary. Like I said, I never seen the documentary. I got to wait till everyone else. But being a basketball junkie and knowing that this ain't no stuff we seen. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So I already know that it's gonna be some juicy stuff. And then like what Mike was saying that, oh, he's afraid of how, man, dude, bruh, you know how you were. Like, I mean, the young kids is gonna see how you really is, but us people that was alive back then, we know how you got down, Jordan. Like, so now I'm gonna talk about and boy, when I tell you, Jordan has some. That's when he brought out them the flu games. That's when he brought out the flu games. So it was a. Oh, let me see. Let me think back. I'm old, Joe. I'm old. The 12s, the flu game. He had the 12s. One of my favorite. No, hold up. Wait a minute. Yeah, the flu games. The 12s. I think it was the 12s. I don't remember, but I'm gonna look it up. I think it was the 12s. But so that Scottie Pippen had them Pippins out. Dennis Rodman had those old weird shoes out. That was the time when Nike was sponsoring the things. And don't be alarmed. Like I said it before, when I seen the little Jordan Last Dance trailer, I guarantee you, Supreme or one of them big companies are gonna drop that Chicago Bulls. That if you go watch the documentary, the first one they put out, one big company is gonna drop that with that Nike, and I think it'll be Supreme. It's gonna be about $400. Watch what I tell you. But so mind you, the year before, that was a 95, 96 Bulls. 95, 96, and they were 72-10. Then came 97, 98, which is the last Dance documentary. They started off the season and they lost to the Boston Celtics 85-92. So they was 0-1. Then the next game they beat the Philadelphia 76ers by a dub. They had that team. That's when AI was on the team. Then they beat the Spurs 87-83 in 2 overtimes. Okay. And then let me see. They won against New Jersey Nets. Think about that. New Jersey Nets going to come up again in the future. For all those that know, my sports heads. Then they went on a losing streak. They lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers, 101-80. Then they had lost to the Washington Wizards, 90-83. Then they beat the Hornets. Then they beat the Cavs again. They lost to Phoenix Suns. Shout out to the Phoenix Suns. Then they beat the Clippers in 2 overtimes. Then they beat the Kings, lost to the Sonics, lost to the Pacers. Remember, think of the Pacers again. Think of the Pacers. And the year before, they had beat the Seahawks. The Sonics. I always say that. The Super Sonics. I always say that. Man, I always say that. But beat the Bucks. They beat the Knicks. They lost to the Magics. Beat the Hornets. Win. Then guess what? December 30th, 1997, how I remember this because I was a little kid and I was super excited. My Timberwolves beat them by 4 points. Yep, beat them. And I remember that because it was I remember them beating them because I think this is the year before they beat them too. But my Timberwolves won. Then they beat the Bucks. They beat the Pistons. They beat the Celtics. They lost to the Heat. Beat the Knicks. Lost to the 76ers again. Now, by this time, their record is 29-12. Remember, the year before, they were 72-10. So they already had lost 2 more games than they did the year before. I mean, they weren't tripping about that. They was trying to win. Then they lost to the Lakers. They got smashed by the Lakers. One that had the late, great Kobe and Shaq on that team. And they got cracked. Then they lost to the Jazz, which they're gonna play. The Jazz is gonna come up again in the future. The Jazz beat them. Then they just went on a tear where they was like, man, they had one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They had went on a 9-game winning streak. Then they lost to the Trailblazers. Then they beat the Kings, beat the Nuggets. Then they went on. They had lost to the Mavericks. Then after they lost to the Mavericks, they went on a 13-game winning streak. So by then, they was 59-18 when they had lost to Cleveland again. Then they beat the Magics. Then they lost to the Pacers, so they were 60-19. And then to end the season, they won their last 2 games. Then let's get to the playoffs, where a lot of this documentary is going to talk about the Last Dance, what comes out this Sunday. It was so let's say they started off. I said, remember, New Jersey Nets swept them, got them boys out of there. Kaboom! Jordan went crazy on them. First game, Jordan won by 3. Second game, they won by 5. Then they won by 15 to sweep them. Then came the Eastern Conference Semifinals. They played against the Hornets. That Hornets team was crazy good. They was crazy good. So Bulls won the first game by 13, lost the second game by 2, 76-78. Then came back, then after that, they got them boys out of there, beat them 4-1. Then came the Eastern Conference Finals. When I say I remember this series, because they had Reggie Miller, and Reggie Miller was a beast. He don't even get the credit he deserved. He was an beast. The jumper was off on point. He was just beast. I got a reaction. I did a reaction on his stuff that's dropping too soon. Like, Reggie Miller was one of my favorite shooters. He was Klay Thompson before Klay Thompson. So they had a squad. So the Bulls won the first game 85-79. The Bulls won the second game 104-98. So now the Bulls up two games to 0. Then boom, Pacers win by 2, 107-105. Now it's 2-1. Boom, Pacers win again by 2. Now we like, okay, now it's 2-2. Then the Bulls win 106-87, 3-2. Then the next game, the Pacers win by 3. Then we all know that the last game that the Bulls won by 5 and got them boys out of there 4 games to 3. And then they went on to the finals, where they was going against the red hot Utah Jazz. Then the first game, the Jazz won. The Jazz won by 3 in overtime. Then the Bulls won. Then the Bulls won again. Then it was a flu game. The Bulls won. Then they lost by 2. And then we know the great push off splash, Jordan with the game winner on Brian Russell. And that what happened with that. And so me personally, I'm super excited. There's a lot of people that's gonna be like, what was going on? But like I said, if you was young, like a lot of the young kids right now that see the Stephen Currys, see the LeBron, see that seen that Golden State run, and seeing like how Golden State was like, that's how the Bulls was for us old folks back in the day, where you knew the Bulls was going to be in the finals. You kind of knew it was either going to be Utah, Seattle coming out the West. It was either Seattle or Utah coming out, and like towards the end. But before, it was the Lakers, Portland, and it was Phoenix. But towards the end, it was Utah, Seattle, and damn, I think it was Utah again. I don't know. I have to look it up and do it on, because I'm definitely doing a 72-10 video / podcast. Super. Like I said, I remember all that. But why say, like I said earlier, why I'm super excited for this documentary is because I know it's stuff I haven't seen. I know they're interviewing a lot of people, from the Barack Obama, from the late great Kobe, to like Carmen Electra. Like, all these people are, Phil Jackson, like, they're all getting interviewed, talking about how the Bulls was and stuff like that. Dennis Rodman, like, I've always been a Rodman fan, like, weird dude. That's why like several times I've been saying, like, I'm a, because we're in quarantine, so I said I was gonna dye my hair rainbow color, because I just always thought that was cool, with Dennis Rodman having his hair all extra crazy and stuff like that. But I felt like it was right for me to drop this, because it's been like, I've been wanting to do it for a while. But I was like, I thought I was going to have to wait to June when it came out. Then when I know, we got the, the COVID-19, we're all in the house, stay home, practice social distancing, wash them hands, make sure you keep them hands clean, practice the 6 feet away from people. So it pushed things out, because people can't leave. People got to be in the house. So when I found that was coming out in April this month, and I was like, oh, I'm super excited, because I almost forgot until I seen a trailer pop up when I was watching ESPN, and I was like, yeah, that 10-part series for that 10 hours. I'm excited. I wish they would have, like, me being who I am, I wish they would have put it all out at once, or I could have binge watched and I could have just, go back. Because what is going to happen once they put it out, that's going to be something I'm going to watch for forever. Forever and ever and ever, is because that 98 team, I just always like the Jordan. Like, I'm not really a big Jordan fan now, like, as much as I was when I was a kid, because I don't be liking the way he be skyrocketing them Jordans. You feel me saying? But I just like the fact that Jordan was a man. Like, Pippen was a man. Rodman was a man. Tony Kukoc. Like, that team was good. Like, the New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls and the Boston Celtics and the LA Lakers are the four teams, and the Philadelphia 76ers, the five teams that you will see everybody wearing their merchandise. Like, you see people wear the Celtics stuff. You see people wear the Chicago Bulls. I got a Chicago Bulls starter jacket. I got a ton of Michael Jordan shoes from when he was actually playing, like, those shoes. I got a bunch of Lakers stuff. I got a bunch of Knicks stuff. I got 76er stuff. Like, it's just those teams that growing up was always what you seen everyone in. Like, I used to tell people back in the day, Jordan had that like the Golden State Warriors starter jackets and all that, the Kings and all that stuff used to be popping back in the day. But the one that everyone always had to have was the Chicago Bulls or the LA Lakers or the New York Knicks. Was the ones I always seen growing up in Minnesota from where I was at. But like I said, I'm super excited to do this video. So like I said, stay tuned, because come Sunday, immediately after it goes off, I'm doing my reaction on the first 2 hours of the documentary, and each episode after that, I'm doing a podcast and a video on it. Or sometimes I might just do a video and not do a podcast. But right now, this one will be on a podcast / video, just like everything else. So like I said, man, I'm the one and only, the Marvelous One, or Michael, however you want to call it. This is the Michael vs. Marvelous YouTube channel and podcast, and this is the Last Dance, the 1997-98 Chicago Bulls, and I can't wait for the documentary on Sunday. And like I said, if you want to, hit that subscribe button, and if you do, make sure you hit that bell button, so whenever I put out content like this, you'll be the first to get into it, because it's a lot of reaction and a lot of sports stuff that will be happening on this channel moving forward.